Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here. Welcome to day 1 of the 10-day beginner wire weaving challenge. I'm calling this a beginner wire weaving challenge because I am actually quite new to wire weaving. I look forward to hearing other tips and tricks along the way from other jewelry makers that have been doing wire weaving for much longer. I truly believe when we teach, we learn, and I'm so excited about this wire weaving learning journey. Today we're making some beautiful wire woven hoop earrings. I'm using 20 gauge and 24 or 26 gauge artistic wire, 6mm faceted beads, and you can make your own earring hooks. I'm using the Beadalon Glimmer Series Nipper tool, their nylon jaw pliers, and their slimline round nose and chain nose pliers. So we're going to start with about 8 inches of the 20 gauge wire, and with the round pliers we are going to bend it at the halfway point. So just push those wires in so there's just a little bit of distance between the two wires. So now we're going to get about 3 feet of 26 or 24 gauge wire. Use whichever wire you prefer, and we're going to coil it around one of the wires and just bring it around, making sure it's pulled nice and tight so there's no slack. This diagram shows the coiling pattern, so we're going to do 1 on the bottom and then 3 at the top and continue with this pattern. So here you see we are winding it around the top wire, so we're going to bring it around and then in between the two wires and back up, taking your time with it, sliding it in between the two wires, pushing it down with your thumb, giving it a good little tug, bringing it up and around, and we are going to do this 3 times. Bringing it through the wires again, push it in, and then we can squeeze it in with the nylon jaw pliers if there's too much space between coils. And then we're going to bring it down to the bottom and then through and push it down. We'll do a single coil on the bottom. You can push it down if you want towards the end whenever you're ready to push it right down there. Some people like to work towards the end of the wires, or you might want to push it all the way down and do it that way. And then we're going to continue with our pattern. You can always reference the diagram to get a better look at it, and make sure you give it a good little tug to tighten up those coils. So going through the wires, we're going to do 3 coils on the top and just keep pushing them in so they're nice and tight. Pull the wire, bring it around, wiggle it to get it tighter, and then bring it down to the bottom and do a single coil on the bottom. You can always watch these videos in slow motion if you need to take your time and have a good look at the method. And the diagram really helps too. So push that wire right down there and take your time, continue with the pattern, and you can make these hoops any size you want. I made them quite small, but you can make them larger if you like. And just keep working our way along, continuing the same pattern. We're going to be using various patterns in the 10-day weaving challenge. This is a good basic one to start with. Push it right down there and up and over. This is the 24 gauge wire. Some people like to weave with thinner wire. It really depends on the project. So now once we've got the length you want, you can measure it to make sure your 2 earrings are the same size, or count the number of coils. You could do about 2 inches or more. And you can hold the end with your chain nose pliers and then pull the coils down if you want them tighter together. And you can pinch them with the nylon jaw pliers to make them nice and flat. And then we're going to start curving it around to form the hoop. So just with your thumb and fingers, just bring it around. And then you can also use the ring mandrel or a marker to form the round shape. So bring it around the mandrel to curve it out to the size that you want, and just push it around against the round form. So you can also use the chain nose pliers to help this shape a little bit. So now we're going to clip the ends to about 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch, and then one of them we are going to bend on an angle, and we want to put it through the loop at the beginning point of our weaving. Trim it a little bit shorter, stick it through the end. That's going to secure the loop together. Hold it firmly with your thumb and finger, and take the chain nose pliers, and we're going to bend the wire back so it's nice and secure. You can trim it a little bit more. We don't want any pokey ends. And then with the chain nose pliers, just push in that little end. So now we're going to clip off our weaving wire on one side, and then we're going to take the bail making pliers and curve around the loop at the top. You can use your round nose pliers for that, and we're going to pinch it so it is flat. And then we just have one other end that we're going to finish it off. You could bring it through and either wind it to the side of the loop, or you could even string it through that loop and just wind it around a couple of times to finish it off. And that makes sure it's nice and secure, and it gives it a nice little finish. Give it a good little wiggle, a good little tug, and we're going to clip off that end with the flush cutters and pinch in that little pokey end. Do any little adjustments you need. You can use your nylon jaw pliers to flatten it out a little bit more. These pliers are really handy. I'll link up all my materials in the description below the video. And then we're going to make our own little head pin. You can use a pre-made head pin if you want. So we'll do a little loop on a piece of 20 gauge wire. Flatten that loop a little bit. And then I'm going to use a 6mm faceted glass bead. I love these beads. They're so pretty. And then clip the end to about 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Now we'll get our round nose pliers, hold the bead firmly, and bend the wire back and around to make a little loop. You can see in this image, I prefer the way the hoop looks when you have the single coil on the outside and the 3 coils towards the inside. Now I'm just taking a pin just to make a little bit of extra space between the coils so that my bead is going to dangle well. So just a straight pin, push it in there. It's made a little bit of space, so now we can put our dangling bead either on a head pin or on your own head pin. And then we need to close up that little gap in the loop so it's nice and secure. And then I made my own earring hooks. I'll link up some tutorials on how to make your own hooks. And we put the hook on the earring, and there is the beautiful pair of woven earrings. The challenge starts on November 25th and runs until December 4th. I will be posting video tutorials each day. You can share pictures of your creations from the tutorials in my private 10-day challenges group. If you submit all 10 photos by the deadline, you will be eligible to win great prizes from Beadalon and my Etsy shop. You only have to make 1 item per day to be eligible for the prize. You must email all 10 photos by December 10th at midnight to heatherboydwire@gmail.com. I will be doing a live draw on Wire Lady TV at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, December 11th. Be sure to join the private Facebook group to participate in the challenge and to check out other viewers' creations. At the end of the challenge, I'll be putting together an ebook which will be available after the challenge is over. Check out all the details in the description below the video. Good luck everybody and have fun with the projects.